Congressman, thank you very much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. All right, so what do you make of my argument that you can disagree with him, you can criticize him, you can certainly criticize the administration's immigration policy or lack thereof, but impeachment is something that should be reserved for something, high crimes and misdemeanors, something where he personally benefits, commits a crime, something like that?
Well, it's not political with us. Honestly, the numbers do not lie. It's a matter of just looking at the numbers, if you will, Dan. 230,000 people in the month of October. That's larger than many cities in my state, my home state of Alabama. And if you're not willfully doing those duties, not to mention under oath telling us that the border's secure when we're breaking records, that's the highest number since the DHS has been tracking numbers on encounters on the U.S. southern border. So it's obvious that he's not telling us the truth, he's not being honest with us, and he's not doing his job.
But let's agree for a moment that the border's a disaster, right? No doubt about it. And the numbers don't lie. The border is a disaster. But again, that doesn't mean that you necessarily start impeaching administration officials. I mean, we've had one, I think, administration official in the United States history who's ever been impeached. And this seems like policy differences. You know, when he says the border's secure, look, the border's not secure, but it's also not a statement under oath that is a lie. It is a disagreement over where we are in terms of immigration. Do you disagree with me on this assessment?
Yes, he is Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. If the U.S. border is not secure, then obviously he's not doing the job. To come into committee under oath in Congress and tell us, in fact, that the border is secure, and to tell the American people that it's simply not true. And if we cannot hold him accountable as the head of the Department of Homeland Security, where in fact do our duties start as Congressmen?
I guess I wonder, for example, let's say a Treasury Secretary, right? Let's say the economy's tanking, right? People say, well, the Treasury Secretary is not doing enough. We got to impeach this person. That's my concern as we start going down this road where both parties, by the way, start doing this, where every time they don't like an administration official and there's a real problem in the country, they say, let's impeach the person.
This starts to be an issue of not just an economy, but American safety, the citizen safety, the drugs, the human trafficking, the things we see on the U.S. southern border. Those are things that are tangible. And you said only once in U.S. history. Well, this is the highest numbers we've had in encounters in the history of tracking those numbers on the border. So obviously, I think we have reason to move forward with the impeachment, at least get him in there, question him. And I think he needs impeaching just based on the numbers themselves. This is not political. We know the border is not secure. I've been down there a couple of times. Anybody who's seen the border, I know the president said he had more important things to do, but anybody who's seen the border knows what's going on down there. We have an invasion on the U.S. southern border. He's the Secretary of National Security.
There is a bipartisan proposal from Senators Tillis and Sinema, which would, as you know, extend Title 42. It would provide, serious resources to beef up enforcement, and it would allow 2 million of those so-called dreamers to remain in the country. I would assume it's not perfect from your perspective. I would assume that you have real concerns about it, as many on sort of both sides do. But man, we need to do something. And it seems to me that anything where there can be some form of agreement is better than where we are, no?
The thing we need to do, when you say we need to do something, we need to secure the U.S. southern border, number one. Number two, we need to reform immigration. But give an amnesty to people, we don't know who they are. And down the road, if you see the fentanyl that's pouring across the border, the money that's going back into the cartel's pockets, actually the Biden administration is the best business partner the Mexican drug cartel has right now. And so to say, yeah, we're just going to give an amnesty for 2 million, what signal does that send south of the border for people to rush the U.S. border? We're already having trouble. We start talking about repealing Title 42, the Remain in Mexico policy. These messages get out across the Americas and across the country south of us, and people pour in here. So we're sending the wrong message if we don't secure the border. We can reform immigration. I agree it shouldn't take 10 years and $15,000. But we had 1,000 people cross last night in El Paso. That's the largest caravan we've ever seen. This is an invasion, my friend, and we've got to shut it down.
So no to the compromise?
No to the compromise at this point. We can reform immigration and go from there.
Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.